Mexico. The Yucatan Peninsula. A flat limestone shelf stretching into the turquoise sea. An epicenter where ancient sorcery and modern science collide. Here, at the foot of El Castillo, the Great Pyramid of Kukulkan, a ritual unfolds. Each year, on the vernal and autumnal equinox, a tide of humanity gathers, their faces turned upward to witness a celestial phenomenon. They watch as the sun's dying rays conjure a serpent from the stone, its body of light and shadow slithering down the grand staircase. They marvel at the geometry, the astronomy, the sheer genius of the Maya. They see a triumph of reason. But they are looking in the wrong direction. The true mystery, the secret that sends a tremor through the archaeological world and stills the tongues of local guides, does not reside on the pyramid's sun-drenched peak. It lies below, deep beneath the limestone foundation, where the world of the living dissolves into the realm of the dead. A terrifying underworld the Maya called Xibalba, the place of fear. In 2018, a team of researchers from the Great Maya Aquifer Project, under the guidance of Dr. Guillermo de Anda, took a step into that abyss. They were not hunting for gold, nor the tombs of long-dead kings. They sought the answer to a question that has haunted historians for more than 100 years. Why did the greatest civilization of the Americas, a people who possessed written language, advanced mathematics, the concept of zero, and a calendar more precise than their European contemporaries, suddenly choose to vanish? Why, in the 9th century, did they abandon their magnificent cities? Why did the jungle reclaim their palaces and seal their sacred sites? The answer lay dormant, in a place spoken of only in whispers by local shamans, a place thought lost to time, the cave of Balamkú, the cave of the Jaguar God. This is no mere geological formation. It is a hermetically sealed time capsule, a vault locked 1,000 years ago in a moment of ultimate desperation. But the story of this revelation does not begin in 2018. It begins half a century earlier, with an event that still ignites controversy and conspiracy. It is a story of profound fear, of what one man saw in the suffocating dark, and why he chose to conceal it from the world. Today, those seals are broken. We will trace every meter of this subterranean labyrinth. We will conduct chemical analysis on the very air trapped within ancient vessels. Using isotopes and lasers, we will reconstruct the final, agonizing moments of an empire. This is not merely an excavation. It is an investigation into a crime of planetary scale, and the cave itself is the only remaining witness. The year is 1966. The jungle choking Chichén Itzá is a wild, untamed territory. Local Maya farmers, clearing a plot for their milpa, their traditional cornfield, stumbled upon a strange fissure in the earth. From beneath the roots of a colossal ceiba, the sacred world tree of the Maya, a cold, damp breath exhaled from the planet's depths. They knew at once what it was. A doorway had been opened. The jungle floor opened into a wound, a dark mouth leading into the earth. But the local guides who found it would go no further. An ancient, genetic fear held them captive. A terror of Xibalba, the Mayan underworld. A dread that flows in the bloodstream of their people. To them, a cave is the womb of the earth, a sacred place that can swallow a soul whole. And so, they stood back and allowed a man of science to face the darkness alone.
His name was Victor Segovia Pinto, a respected archaeologist, the director of excavations at the great Chichén Itzá. He was a pragmatist, a man of empirical data and logical conclusions, with little time for mysticism. He arrived at the site with a small team of workers, prepared for another routine survey, another entry in the long ledger of fieldwork. What happened next, however, defies the tidy logic of conventional archaeology.
Segovia descended.
For 3 days and 3 nights, he was consumed by the cave, exploring its initial chambers in absolute solitude. When he finally emerged, clawing his way back into the Yucatan sun, he was a changed man. His colleagues would later recall his appearance with a shudder. He was deathly pale, his hands trembling, his eyes wide with a profound shock. By every rule of his profession, his next steps were clear. He should have immediately contacted the press, organized a large-scale expedition, and begun the meticulous process of cataloging the artifacts. Guard ropes would be strung, grids laid out. A discovery of this magnitude could have made him a global icon, a modern-day Howard Carter who had found not a pharaoh's tomb, but a portal to a lost Mayan world. Instead, he gave an order that stunned his assistants into silence.
Seal it.
Not with a simple gate or a chain-link fence, but with finality. He commanded them to wall it up with stones, to pack the entrance so tightly that not even a mouse could slip through into the darkness beyond. He had brought nothing out with him, not a single artifact, not one painted vase, not one jade bead. He left it all there, undisturbed, in the silent, waiting dark. His official report was a masterpiece of academic obfuscation, a brief, dry document that made only a passing mention of a significant quantity of ceramics before being deliberately buried in the deepest, dustiest archives of the National Institute of Anthropology and History. The coordinates for the entrance were scrubbed from all maps. The local villagers were instructed to forget what they had seen, to speak of it to no one. Victor Segovia died in 1995, carrying the true nature of his discovery with him to the grave. He never once spoke publicly of the cave the world would come to know as Balamkú. Why? What could so terrify a man of science that he would choose obscurity over fame and secrecy over discovery?
Conspiracy theorists whisper of a curse, of a guardian entity that he disturbed. They speak of a sight so alien, so contrary to the known laws of reality that it shattered his rational mind. But modern researchers, poring over the few scant, cryptic notes he left behind, have pieced together a different, more haunting possibility. It was not a monster he encountered, but a crushing psychological weight. Segovia wrote of a suffocating atmosphere, of feeling 1,000 eyes watching from the darkness. He described an overwhelming sense of trespass, of violating a profoundly sacred and sorrowful space. Perhaps this man, so deeply immersed in the Mayan culture, had become too empathetic. He felt not the thrill of discovery, but the pain of a place of ritual, and chose to respect its sanctity. Or perhaps, in a moment of stunning foresight, he acted as a true custodian. He may have looked upon the fragile offerings and realized that the archaeological technology of the 1960s was too crude, too invasive. He foresaw that his colleagues would simply plunder the cave, stripping it of its artifacts while destroying its delicate context, never grasping its true meaning. He made an impossible choice: to conserve the discovery for a future generation, for us. And that future arrived 52 years later. A symbolic number, a full cycle in the Mayan calendar round. The loop had closed. In the year 2018, Guillermo de Anda, a National Geographic explorer, spent months hacking through the relentless jungle, chasing Segovia's ghost. The forest erases all human traces, tree roots shatter stone, and memory fades. But by cross-referencing faded old maps with the distant recollections of 80-year-old elders, his team was led to a nondescript pile of moss-choked stones. They began to pull them away, one by one, unsealing the silence of half a century. Segovia's decision forces us to confront a difficult question. Was his act one of fear or one of profound wisdom? In our relentless pursuit of knowledge, we rarely stop to ask if we are worthy of the secrets we uncover. Perhaps the archaeologist understood that some doors should remain closed, not to hide what is behind them, but to protect it from a world not yet ready to understand.
For half a century, it was a secret kept by the earth. A discovery made by a man named Segovia, and then reclaimed by the jungle. From a narrow fissure in the limestone, a current of air escapes, a dense, humid, heavy exhalation. It is the scent of millennia, the sharp ammonia of bat guano mingling with the damp mineral tang of wet stone. It is the very breath of a dragon.
The team stands ready, armed with an arsenal of 21st century technology. Atmospheric sensors, vigilant guardians against the silent, suffocating threats of methane and carbon dioxide. Three-dimensional laser scanners, poised to paint a digital map of the underworld in real time. And powerful LED lamps, their beams engineered to pierce a darkness that has never known the sun. But the cave makes its intentions clear from the very first moment. Guests are not welcome here.
The entrance is not a gateway. It is a throat. A narrow, constricting passage, a wormhole into another reality. To pass through, one must submit to what cavers call a skinner, a passage so tight it feels as though it strips you bare. The first 400 meters are a meticulously designed ordeal, a trial of both physical endurance and psychological fortitude. In places, the distance between the floor and the ceiling is a mere 40 centimeters. Here, a human being cannot stand. They cannot sit. They cannot even find the small relief of crawling on all fours. There is only the crawl of the serpent, on the belly, slithering through a liquid, viscous mud, a slurry of insect and bat excrement accumulated over untold generations. Your back scrapes against the stone ceiling above, a constant, abrasive reminder of the weight of the world pressing down. Your face is just centimeters from a floor where unsettling creatures move in the darkness. Whip spiders, harmless but primeval, test the air with their long, antenniform legs. Scorpions lie in wait within the crevices. The air itself becomes an adversary.
Oxygen is a precious commodity, thin and unsatisfying. The concentration of carbon dioxide is dangerously high. Each breath is a labor. The heart hammers against the ribs, its frantic rhythm echoing in your ears, the only percussion in the crushing silence.
This is a test. The ancient Maya knew such passages as the path of birth.
For them, the cave was the very womb of the earth. To gain entry into the world of the spirits, an individual had to be reborn, to endure the pain and compression of the birth canal. It is a psychological barrier of immense power. Claustrophobia, a primal fear of being buried alive, grips even the most seasoned speleologists. And here, panic is a death sentence. To lose control in this narrow passage is to become wedged, to block the path for everyone behind you. Rescue is not a swift or simple matter. Guillermo de Anda, leading the expedition, crawled first. He would later recount the feeling that the cave itself was contracting around him, that the stone jaws of the earth were slowly, inexorably closing. A terrifying certainty washed over him that he would remain here forever, a fossil for a future age. But driven by adrenaline and the unyielding curiosity of the explorer, he pushed onward. And then, suddenly, the tunnel widened. The ceiling soared upwards into absolute blackness. He was able to get to his feet, to stand upright and lift his head. The beam from his headlamp sliced through the void, a blade of light striking the far wall. And he screamed. It was not a cry of fear, but of pure, unadulterated shock.
Because the wall was staring back. He saw eyes. Hundreds of eyes. This was no empty cavern. This was a treasury. But not of gold, To the Maya, gold was merely a beautiful metal, the excrement of the sun. Its value was terrestrial, fleeting. The true eternal wealth was a connection to the gods. Before the explorers lay 7 ritual chambers, natural grottos filled with phantasmagorical stalactites and stalagmites, resembling an army of chthonic beings frozen in time. And every square centimeter of available space was occupied by artifacts. Vases, plates, grinding stones, the metates used to prepare sacred maize.
And most importantly, the incensarios, the incense burners. Enormous, complex ceramic vessels, some standing half a meter tall, their surfaces covered in the faces of gods and spirits. These were the instruments of communion, the sacred technology used to send prayers of smoke into the spirit realm.
The chamber had not been plundered. It had been sealed, a time capsule of belief. The eyes Guillermo saw were not hostile, but watchful. The faces on the censers, waiting in the dark for rituals that would never come. They had discovered not a tomb, but a church. Not a hoard of wealth, but a library of faith, written in clay and stone. The true treasure was not what they found, but the journey they were forced to take to find it. A journey not through rock, but through the very crucible of rebirth itself.
They were sculpted from the earth and hardened by fire with an almost impossible mastery. Each vessel was given a face, the visage of a deity. There were not 10 of them, not 20. There were hundreds. The latest count, from the first chambers alone, exceeds 200. They stood in silent ranks, a legion of clay.
Some had been deliberately broken. A ritual murder of the object, performed to release its spirit into the next world. But others stood perfectly intact, cloaked only in a thin veil of millennial dust and the calcite that had wept from the ceiling above. The stillness was absolute, the preservation so profound, it felt as if the priestesses had departed only yesterday, as if the smoke from their sacred incense had only just cleared from the air. The scientists moved between these rows, daring not to breathe, terrified that a backpack's careless swing could shatter an eternity. A single clumsy step, and a priceless history would be reduced to a pile of shards.
This was the single largest cache of ritual ceramics ever unearthed in the history of Maya studies. Most tombs are found hollowed out, plundered by black market archaeologists in antiquity or in the 20th century. Most temples stand empty. But this place, Balamkú, was untouched. Not a single looter had managed to brave the constricting passage at its entrance, or overcome the primal fear of the spirits said to guard it. It was a Pompeii of the Maya world, a single, frozen snapshot of a lost epoch. And as the archaeologists began to examine the faces staring back from the vessels, a second, more profound shock awaited them. A cultural shock. These were not the faces they expected to find in the heart of the Yucatan. The classic Maya rain god, Chak, is unmistakable. He possesses a characteristically point pression, but this was not the face they found. Staring back from the clay were round, goggled eyes, ringed as if by celestial spectacles. The fangs were not of a serpent, but of a jaguar. The headdress was a distinctive rectangular form. This was Tlaloc, the god of rain, thunder, and war from central Mexico, the god of the distant, colossal city of Teotihuacan, and later of the Aztecs. He was the god of strangers.
What was this deity of the Mexican highlands doing in the heart of the Maya jungle, 2,000 kilometers from his mountain home? The discovery overturned generations of understanding about the politics and religion of the time. It suggested a cultural expansion, perhaps even a military invasion. Or the Maya, it seemed, was so terrified by what was happening to their world that they had turned their backs on their own ancestral gods. Chak, their native patron of the rains, had fallen silent.
their prayers went unanswered. The skies remained barren, and so, in their final hour, they decided to appeal to a foreign power, a more violent, more water. They were changing their religion in a desperate attempt to survive.
To understand the depth of such a betrayal of faith, we must leave the silent darkness of the cave and look to the sky, as it was 1,000 years ago. The dating of the ceramics, through both radiocarbon analysis and stylistic comparison, provided a clear and chilling time frame, the late Classic and Terminal Classic periods, from the year 700 to the year 1000 of our era.
This was the precise moment of the Great Maya Collapse, one of history's most profound and enduring mysteries. Across the jungle, the great city-states of Tikal, Calakmul, and Palenque were dying. Their grand plazas fell silent, royal construction ceased, kings vanished from the stone records, the population withered, dying where they want.
The silent clay army of Balamkú does not merely tell a story of a lost civilization. It is a testament to the bargains we strike when the world we know begins to end. It is a chilling record of a people who, faced with annihilation, reached into the darkness for the hand of a foreign god, hoping it might pull them back into the light.
For generations, a profound mystery haunted the ruins of the Maya. Scholars debated the cause of their spectacular collapse, proposing war, peasant uprisings, or waves of epidemic disease. The answer, when it came, did not emerge from a weathered stone tablet, but from the deep, silent darkness of a cave named Balamkú. And it was a truth confirmed by the patient work of paleoclimatologists.
From adjacent caverns, scientists extracted stalagmites, stone manuscripts, written drop by agonizing drop over centuries. A stalagmite is a natural chronicle, the hard drive of a forgotten climate. As water percolates through the earth, it leaves behind mineral deposits, and within those deposits, a chemical signature. Isotopic analysis of the oxygen, a precise measurement of its heavy and light forms, allows us to reconstruct ancient rainfall with the accuracy of a single year.
When plotted, the data formed a chilling century of our era. The Yucatan was seized by a monstrous, unprecedented megadrought. This was no mere dry summer. It was a fundamental climatic shift. The rains, the lifeblood of a civilization, ceased for decades. Precipitation plummeted by a staggering 70% and did not recover. For a culture utterly dependent on rain-fed agriculture, on the maize that demanded water, this was a death sentence. The cenotes, the great open karst wells that were the only source of fresh water on the peninsula, began to recede. The water table fell by meters, the precious liquid retreating deeper into the earth. Crops withered in the fields. The stores in the great granaries emptied. Famine began its grim march of their magnificent urban centers, collapsing in the shadow of their own monumental pyramids, as their children cried out from a thirst that could not be quenched.
In this abyss, the priests and the elite sought a way out. They understood that the usual sacrifices upon the high pyramids were failing. The sky was closed. The gods had departed. And so they resolved to go to the source. The Maya believed that water was born deep underground, in the sacred womb of the caves. They believed that here, in the depths, lived the true masters of the rain, and that the clouds themselves rose from these subterranean portals. They descended into Balamkú.
This was no triumphal procession. It was an act of ultimate desperation, a pilgrimage into the abyss itself to awaken a sleeping god and beg for life. Imagine the procession moving through the deep jungle night, alive with unseen sounds. The priests, emaciated by hunger, their eyes sunken, are nonetheless clad in their full ceremonial regalia. Shimmering quetzal feathers, heavy jade necklaces, intricate mosaic masks, and the pelts of jaguars. They crawl on their hands and knees through a narrow, muddy passage, their skin torn by the sharp stones, their fingernails breaking. They drag with them heavy ceramic censers, each weighing 15 kilograms. They carry baskets of food their own children are starving for, along with firewood and torches.
Analysis of the soot clinging to the cave ceiling reveals the intensity of their ritual. Here, 25 meters beneath the surface, they lit fires so fierce that the oxygen in the confined chamber was consumed almost instantly. This induced a state of profound hypoxia. The oxygen-starved brain begins to fail, triggering hallucinations, euphoria, and powerful visions. In the flickering torchlight, the dancing shadows on the cave walls would have transformed into chthonic deities and demons. To this sensory assault, they added the smoke of powerful incense. Gas chromatography performed on the residue at the bottom of the censers has revealed a complex psychoactive cocktail. Its primary ingredient was copal, a tree resin that produces a thick, sweet, intoxicating smoke. This, they believed, was the very food of the gods.
In the suffocating dark, surrounded by visions born of smoke and desperation, a civilization made its final offering, not merely to the gods of rain, but to the terrifying silence that answered them.
This was not the tobacco of commerce, nor the leaf of casual indulgence. This was Nicotiana rustica, the wild tobacco, a plant whose nicotine content is not merely higher, but orders of magnitude greater than anything known to the modern world. It offers no gentle relaxation. Its purpose was to shatter the senses, to induce a powerful, violent intoxication, a purging of the body that opened a doorway to the mind. It was the first step into a trance.
But it was far from the only key used to unlock that door. Traces of a chthonic pharmacopoeia lingered in the darkness. The seeds of the morning glory, Turbina corymbosa, containing LSA, a natural cousin to the potent hallucinogens of a later age. The skin of the cane toad, secreting a powerful bufotoxin. And fungi, the ancient communicators of the forest floor. With this chemical arsenal, the Mayan priests embarked on a journey. They were not merely praying. In their minds, and in the minds of their people, they were physically migrating into the world of the spirits.
Here, in the subterranean dark, they believed they saw the rain god, Tlaloc. They spoke with him. They heard his voice in the rhythmic, eternal dripping of water from the cave ceiling. And they paid him. On the sacrificial altars, formed from the slow, patient growth of stalagmites, scientists found the residue of their transactions. Under the cold glare of ultraviolet light, faint organic traces blazed into view. It was the unmistakable signature of blood.
The priests practiced a ritual of auto-sacrifice, a profound offering of their own life force. They would pierce their tongues, their ears, their very genitals with instruments of exquisite pain. The serrated spines of stingrays brought inland from the distant sea, or the razor-sharp edges of obsidian knives chipped from volcanic glass. They would let their sacred blood drip onto strips of amate, a paper hammered from the bark of the ficus tree. This blood-soaked paper was not preserved. It was offered. Placed in ceramic censers, it was set alight. The smoke, thick with the essence of their own vitality, would rise to the vaulted ceiling, carrying their plea to the gods. It was an act of profound, sympathetic magic, a desperate bargain whispered in smoke and blood. "We give you our moisture, our lifeblood," the ritual declared. "In return, give us yours, give us the rain." It was a sacrifice of the self for the salvation of the many.
Yet, the most soul-shattering detail of the Balamkú cave was not the vases filled with offerings, nor the spectral evidence of the priest's blood. In one of the farthest chambers, 400 meters from the sunlit world, where the floor is a permanent bed of soft, wet clay, archaeologists discovered imprints, footprints, preserved with impossible clarity,
They had been sealed for 1,000 years beneath a thin, crystalline crust of calcite, as if captured under glass.
The discovery brought the researchers to a stunned silence.
The size of the footprints made them avert their eyes. They were small feet, impossibly small. They were the footprints of children.
This was no place for games. No child could have accidentally wandered into this labyrinth, crawling through the suffocating dark, through passages barely wide enough for a man to squeeze through. They were not exploring, they were brought here, or carried. The question was not how, but why.
In the mythology of the Maya, and especially that of the Aztecs, whose influence is clear in the worship of Tlaloc, the rain god had a particular and cruel requirement. He favored children. As pure, innocent beings, they were considered closer to the spirit world, and it was believed their tears, the purest form of water, held the power to summon the rains from a stubborn, brassy sky. The grim logic was inescapable. The more a child cried before its death, the more abundant the coming downpour would be.
No mass graves have yet been found in Balamkú. Perhaps the bodies were consigned to the flooded, inaccessible siphons where divers have not yet reached. Perhaps they were cremated. But the physical remains are almost secondary. The mere presence of children in this subterranean hell, a place with stale air, mycal frenzy, speaks to a society pushed to the absolute brink of desperation.
Parents were surrendering their most precious asset. They were giving away their own lineage, their own future, to prolong their present for just one more season of rain. This place is not merely stone and clay. It is saturated with the silent, echoing terror of children who walked into the darkness and did not return. And it is haunted by something more, the unimaginable anguish of the parents who stood outside under a silent, empty sky, waiting for a rain that was bought with an impossible price, a rain that, in the end, may never have come.
The artifacts are not placed by chance. This is no forgotten storeroom, no dusty attic of a fallen empire. This is a model of the universe, a mandala rendered in stone and clay.
In the heart of the principal chamber, a colossal stalagmite rises from the cavern floor. The ancient Maya did not see mere geology. They saw divinity in the Earth's natural forms, imbuing them with profound meaning. This pillar of stone is their axis mundi, the world tree, the sacred yakche. It is the cosmic spine connecting the heavens, the earth, and the shadowy underworld of Xibalba.
Arranged around it with ritualistic precision are incense burners. They are aligned to the cardinal points, a map of creation laid out in the eternal dark. 4 directions, 4 cosmic winds, 4 sacred colors. To the east, the vibrant red of birth and sunrise. To the north, the spectral white of the ancestors. To the west, the profound black of night and transformation. And to the south, the golden yellow of the sun's zenith. The Maya were attempting to reconstruct cosmic order in a world that was descending into chaos. They built a microcosm beneath the earth to repair the broken macrocosm above.
This was an act of magical engineering, a desperate attempt to mend the fractured mechanisms of weather and time.
Every vase, every stone, every gesture held immense power. An error in the ritual, a moment of impurity, could spell doom for the entire city-state. On some of these vessels, archaeologists have found the ghostly remnants of seeds, charred kernels of maize, beans, squash, the fiery memory of chili, and the sacred cacao. These were not simple offerings. This was a genetic ark, a doomsday vault. As the sun above burned their fields to dust, as the seed stores on the surface failed, the priests carried the finest, most viable grains deep into the earth, into the cool, damp sanctuary of the cave.
Perhaps they hoped the gods would accept this ultimate gift. Or perhaps, with a pragmatism born of despair, they hoped that one day the rains would return, and these seeds could be retrieved, a new beginning coaxed from the sacred soil. They were trying to save the very foundation of their existence. They were trying to save the DNA of their civilization. The exploration of Balamkú, the cave of the Jaguar God, has only just begun. The archaeologist Guillermo de Anda and his team have penetrated nearly 500 meters into this subterranean labyrinth. But modern geo-radar and laser scans peel back the veil of stone, revealing a staggering truth. This is merely the antechamber. The system plunges onward for kilometers, winding deeper into the earth, down toward the water table, the realm of the rain god Chak.
There, in the profound depths, the tunnels are flooded. The crystal-clear waters of underground rivers fill the passageways. Here, the domain of the archaeologist gives way to that of the underwater explorer, the most perilous and technically demanding of all disciplines. Divers now prepare to enter the siphons, narrow, water-filled conduits that constrict the path forward.
A grand theory, rooted in the unique limestone geology of the Yucatan Peninsula, suggests that Balamkú is not an isolated system. It may be part of a vast network connecting the region's great caves, and perhaps even the great cenote that lies directly beneath the primary pyramid of Chichén Itzá, El Castillo. In 2015, electrical tomography confirmed the existence of this immense subterranean lake beneath the pyramid's foundations. If Balamkú is a secret artery to this hidden heart, we are standing on the threshold of the discovery of a millennium. What lies in that water beneath the pyramid may be far more than ceremonial pots. It could be the final resting place of kings, their remains accompanied by offerings of gold and jade. It could be a trove of hieroglyphic panels, a lost library of dynastic history, hidden away by priests in their civilization's darkest hour to save it from enemies and the ravages of time. For now, the way is barred by water, suffocating silt, and treacherous rockfalls. Robotic probes cannot navigate the collapsed terrain. Human divers are limited by the air they can carry. Every meter gained is a triumph of courage and a dance with mortality. But during a recent scan of the cavern walls, a side chamber was detected. Its entrance was deliberately sealed with heavy stones, meticulously stacked. From the inside, the implication is as profound as it is chilling. It suggests a final act not of desperation, but of devotion. A priest, a guardian, a living sacrifice who chose to become one with the sacred space, to eternally watch over the seeds of their civilization's rebirth. The greatest secrets are not merely buried, they are protected by those who were willing to become the last echo in the darkness.
The passage was sealed from within, a final, deliberate act of entombment. This single fact raises a chilling question. Who was the last person to see the light of day, and why did they choose eternal darkness? Was it a priestess, in a final act of devotion, choosing to perish alongside the gods she served? Or was something concealed in that subterranean dark, a relic so sacred or a truth so dangerous that it had to be walled off forever, even from their own people?
For now, archaeologists dare not disturb the crude stone barrier. The risk is too great. They proceed with an almost surgical caution, treating the site not as a ruin, but as a living, breathing entity. Slender fiber optic probes, whispers of modern technology, are threaded through the narrowest of fissures between the stones. On a screen in the oppressive jungle heat, ghostly images flicker into existence, the faint contours of objects unseen by human eyes for a millennium. Are those fabrics? Textiles that, by all logic, should have returned to dust centuries ago, yet may have persisted in the unique, oxygen-starved stillness of the cave. The shapes of wooden idols, the stark white of bone. It is a chamber of pure potential, a paradox of preservation, a Schrödinger's tomb, where a 1,000-year-old world is both perfectly intact and already lost, its fate hanging on the very act of observation.
The scientists fear shattering the fragile microclimate.
For thousands of years, the humidity and temperature within have remained in a state of perfect, undisturbed equilibrium. To breach the seal would be to unleash a torrent of dry, foreign air from the surface. In a matter of weeks, priceless organic artifacts, manuscripts, wooden carvings, ceremonial garments, could desiccate and crumble into nothingness. And so, the study of Balamkú, the cave of the Jaguar God, proceeds slowly, with a reverence bordering on the sacred. It is approached as one might an open wound on the body of history itself.
The discovery of Balamkú is far more than a sensation for museum catalogs.
It is a message, a letter delivered across an impossible gulf of time from a civilization that challenges our understanding of the past. We are looking at the final moments of the Maya, a people of staggering sophistication. They possessed an intricate understanding of astronomy and mathematics. Their art and written language were profoundly complex. They engineered cities of stone that, even today, we are still liberating from the jungle's relentless embrace.
Yet for all their brilliance, they were utterly defenseless against a force of their own making. They exhausted their world. To fuel the fires that cooked limestone into the plaster for their monumental pyramids, they felled their forests, stripping the landscape bare. This vast deforestation exacerbated a series of catastrophic droughts, breaking the delicate cycles that had sustained them for generations. They engineered the collapse of their own environment, and when the crisis arrived, when the rains failed and the maize withered, their advanced knowledge could not save them. Their elite offered no viable solutions. Their gods, to whom they had built such magnificent tributes, fell silent. Their rulers, their kings and high priests, retreated from the dying cities into the sacroceramics and the blood of children to appease silent deities, all while ignoring the real, systemic problems unfolding under the sun.
It is a disquieting echo across the centuries, a cautionary tale written in stone and bone. We too alter our climate. We too consume resources at a rate that outpaces the planet's ability to replenish them. We too place our faith in the promise that technology will provide a solution at the 11th hour. But Balamkú serves as a stark reminder. There are forces in this universe with which one cannot negotiate. There is a threshold beyond which collapse becomes irreversible.
When you look upon the images from this cave, the haunting, goggle-eyed face of a Tlaloc effigy, the rain god, emerging from the absolute black, remember what it represents. This was among the last things the Maya saw, a focal point for their hope and their terror before their world was extinguished forever. Their prayers went unanswered. The cave of Balamkú is not a treasure chamber. It is a monument to human desperation and an eternal, chilling reminder that nature always has the final word.
What has been witnessed cannot be unseen. The threads of this story do not end here. They merely recede from view, continuing to weave a larger, more complex tapestry just beyond our sight. To turn away now is to accept an incomplete truth. For history is not a static account of the past, but a living narrative that reveals its next chapter only to those who have the patience to keep watching.